Hello, we are team Recipy, and we decided that we, in our final project, set ourselves some goals before we actually decided what we were going to make. And those goals were that we were going to try and challenge ourselves with learning new technology that we hadn't encountered yet, whilst also consolidating what we did know from JavaScript. And we decided that we were going to use the MERN stack, and we wanted to involve web scraping with that. So having decided those things, we then looked for inspiration on what to create. And we were all foodies and into music, so we decided that we wanted to get some recipe inspiration whilst listening to music, and be able to filter through different recipes from BBC Good Food, whilst integrating your own Spotify account into your search as well. I'm going to hand you over to Simon, who will run you through a demo of our product.
Thanks, AJ. Yeah, so if I log in as a previously registered user, and then log in there, and perhaps I decide I want to listen to some music while I'm picking out a recipe. So this takes you through using a Spotify API, because I've got an account with Spotify, I can input my details, and then with successful login, that then grants an access token. So perhaps I'm inspired to cook something Italian, so I can start an Italian themed playlist. And then, as you can see with the functionality that we implemented, we've got infinite scroll there. So it's grabbing all the different relevant recipes back from the database. Perhaps I then click on the pizza, but maybe don't have all the relevant ingredients for that at that point in time. So favorite that, and maybe dig out a few other ingredients in the cupboard and decide to go for something more Latin American themed. So I can select the different filters, which will then re-render all the relevant recipes back from the database, which then allows me to pick out my recipe for the evening. I'll hand over to Lisa, who I think is going to talk us through the kind of the roadmap of the project.
Yeah, I'm going to walk you through our feature development. So since we wanted to add a lot of features to our website, we had to prioritize our task and implement features step by step. So we start setting up the MERN stack. This was quite an interesting challenge because we had to deal with a new tech and learn how to query no relational database. This was the first time for all of us doing that. So after that, we wanted our website to display a lot of recipe. All the recipes are from the BBC Good Food website. And we thought that the best solution was to rely on a web scraper to grab all the data from the BBC website. And after that, so after grabbing all the recipes from the BBC website, we were able to pull more than 5K recipes. And since we were able to grab all these data, we need to find a way to display these recipes on our website. We first implement a pagination solution as let's say our first iteration, but then to improve the user experience, we decide to go for an infinite scrolling solution. After implementing that, we add a filter, a recipe filter, to show only those recipes that contain the ingredients selected by the user. And after doing that, we focus on the login functionality in order to implement all the features that require that. An example of these is the add to favorite that has been added to our website. And at the end, we decide to add few Spotify playlists to our website to allow the user to cook and at the same time listening to music. So these are all the features implemented in these past 2 weeks, and I'm going to pass over Will now.
So one of the early priorities for the project was for us to get access to a large number of recipes to populate the website. We thought about using a third-party API to do this, but eventually decided to go and build our own web scraper because we thought it would be a more interesting learning experience. So there are 4 steps to this. The first was to find a page or set of pages on BBC Good Food that had all of the recipes on. We got this by just searching for nothing in the search bar on the website, and a page like the left came back on. And there were about 417 search result pages containing all of the recipes. We then used a program called Puppeteer, which is an automated web browser. And we were able to program that to essentially navigate all of these web pages and extract all of the recipe URLs. So there are a couple of loops to do this. There was an outer loop that would basically visit every single one of these search result pages. And then a loop within that for each of these pages would scan the page and bring out all of the recipe URLs. So essentially after that, we ended up with a massive array containing about 10,000 recipe URLs. And then the third part of the recipe scraper was to go into each of these recipe URLs and get all of the information. We found a third-party package to do this. We went into it and made a few changes just to make sure it was giving us the data back the way we wanted. But that basically iterated over the 10,000 recipes, took out the ingredients, image, method, etc. And then the final step was just to insert all of this into our cloud-based MongoDB database, which could then be accessed by our Recipy app. I'm going to pass you over to Zine, who's going to talk about infinite scroll.
Thanks, Will. The challenges of filtering were having to send the selected ingredients to filter by to the database and query the database with the selected ingredients. Once the recipes have been found, we would send it all to the web page. Doing this, we also stumbled across another problem. As our database contains over 5,000 recipes, rendering all 5,000 recipes on the page would cause our web page to crash. To prevent this, we had to implement pagination. What this means is only send a limited amount of recipes per page, and when you click on the next page, it would send the next set of recipes. Clicking next page seemed too old school for us, so we decided to implement infinite scrolling. To do this, we had to let the browser know when the last recipe was visible on the screen and to then automatically send a request to the next page of the set recipes to be rendered. I will pass you over to AJ, who will talk about our goals.
Yeah, so we started with working out how we were going to work best as a team, and we all acknowledged that having morning, lunchtime, and evening sort of sit-downs to kind of consolidate what we had learned and what we had implemented those days would be a really useful way of consolidating that learning. And the second one was to prioritize tasks. So that was a case of choosing which features we thought were our MVP and then working towards those. And yeah, I think we worked pretty well as a team and came up with a very cool product. Thank you.